People love to hate big pharma. Okay. The concern is that their hatred of big pharma and there's almost categorical all or nothing response to big pharma or the hatred of big pharma can actually cause the very problems that they hate big pharma for. And I want to deconstruct that to some extent. Let's go. Big pharma, okay? What's the issue here? We think they've done harm in the past. Yes. Are they doing harm now? And much of it may not even be seen for years or ever really grasped. Yes. Can they manipulate the market? Do they in some ways misinform? Absolutely. And is it all to chase profit and make as much money as they can? Heck yes. But here's the kicker. That is what they were designed to do. And furthermore, we created this. They're a corporation. We created this quote unquote free market, laissez faire economy that we believe is the most prosperous way to go for all individuals, and everyone can thrive, has opportunity, choice, and free will in such markets or in such political and economic structures, right? We've been voting for this kind of thing for many years, and these things continue to grow. And did you think they are a charity? Do you think that they are missionaries? Did you think they took a Hippocratic oath committed to duty, service, and healing? Did you think they are a governmental institution with a goal of maximizing good for the most amount of people with the least amount of resources? Take a look at some other healthcare systems. Why would you think that? They are a corporation. And the bottom line and success for them means profits. And no one ever set a top end limit to your profit. We don't do that. Do what you can. That is point one. They're just simply doing their job that we created over decades through our voting, political behavior, social behavior, and value systems. You just didn't know what that job was. I think most people in our society have never even seen the cover of Wealth of Nations or cracked it open or have had any time spent digging through that book and asking if our capitalistic system driven by profit is what Adam Smith had in mind, or what are the negative things or outcomes that he described in his works. They're doing their job, okay? So let's be clear. I'm not defending Big Pharma. As a physician, I'm not a slave of Big Pharma. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. If you only understood to the extent there's a regulation between Big Pharma, the people they send out, and the physicians that they deal with. And in my particular case, essentially almost nobody ever comes to visit me because I'm not very nice. But I will take once a month free lunches, and there's a couple of them I like. Wow, this is big news to some of the kratom folks and the pain advocate community, right? What I'm saying here is your entire framework for understanding Big Pharma is flawed because they are doing the job they're supposed to do. You didn't know it, and now you're upset because of the end game consequences of what they do. And we as a society created that in a free market, laissez-faire all or nothing, profit maximized. That's what we want, correct? Their job is not healing. Their job is not having an ethical disposition beyond what the institutional infrastructure of our society can observe. They don't have to do anything more than that, and they probably get away with what they can. Let's deconstruct it a little more. Think about if you are big pharma, right? You're big pharma and you're spending billions on research, right? Well, real research, right, doesn't have business quarters, shareholders, and a board to answer to. It happens when it happens. And diseases don't just show up that all of a sudden you need medication for, right? It happens when it happens through natural scientific discovery, inquiry, and epidemiology evaluations. Okay? So, of course, you're going to manipulate the market, the demand, and of course, you're going to try to get your product to the market as soon as possible. I would do the same exact thing. If that was my job, as ugly as it may be at times, it is the rational thing to do. But let's tame this and let's still be honest and realistic, because that's what I'm trying to do, get you to critically think about this. They are regulated. Okay, just because they have done things that is wrong and may have hurt people and will continue to do so and continue to grow, they are regulated. But now I say that, and for the those too far gone in their fantastic delusional thinking, well, the FDA is in their pockets too. Wrong. Right? Is there people in the FDA that are in their pockets? Yeah. Is there thousands of committed, brilliant, hardworking scientists and regulators in the FDA trying to do the best they can for the public? Absolutely. And at least that is something. And you should actually recognize that and understand that it's not that simple where the FDA is in this guy's pocket and those guys are all evil. And in that thin line, there are products that are needed and good for certain individuals at certain times. And for all of its flaws, the FDA, there's oversight, there's clinical trials, there's post-marketing surveillance, and that oversight means something, even though it could be flawed. So a big segment of people that are disillusioned with the pharmaceutical company, the systems, the powers that be, whatever, their reaction to that disillusionment is even more bizarre than what put them in this situation in the first place. They turn to an alternative natural foods, natural supplements industry. Okay, redux. Are they priests? Do they have a commitment to charity? Are they bound by some ethical, higher power to do good and just and spread the most amount of good to the most amount of people with minimal resources? I got news for you. They're a corporation designed to make as much money as they can. And it even gets worse. They're not regulated in any way, shape, or form. We can go through the details, but you can look it up. Why would you think because it has something on the brand or an alternative medicine practitioner tells you you're all kind of in this thing together and you're beating the bad guy? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. So you hate big pharma. I get it. Okay. But you've got to stop looking for good guys, bad guys, enemies, saviors, this team, that team, black, white, that country, that religion, this religion. I bring these up because critical thinking extends all the way out and all the way in to understanding pharmacology and patient behavior after years, to looking at how you see the whole world and what makes you feel warm and fuzzy. Thinking is hard. Selling emotional branding, making people feel they're part of a team, recognizing what evil is and that's it. That's an easy thing for the brain to do. And it creates comfort, meaning, frankly, dopamine. So you are the third player in this, the consumer, who in Adam Smith's world expects you to be a well educated consumer that can discern, judge, and make rational decisions about the products that they're offered. Unfortunately, in this post-modernistic nightmare, most of that is also gone. Doesn't mean it can't return. Pill for energy, pill for this pain, pill for that pain, pill for focus, pill for happiness, and a pill needs to fix everything quickly. That is not what it is to be human. Know what you're putting in your body. There's a third player in all of this, and that is you, the consumer, the educated consumer. You don't need a pill and a quick fix for everything in your life, and that's not the answer. And yeah, Big Pharma has problems, but don't run into the arms of a gazillion-dollar industry to save you from a gazillion-dollar industry thinking the end game is going to be different. It's not. Both sides simply want your money. And the only person that's going to save you is you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whether you like what I say or not. Hopefully, it made you think. And I'll see you next time. Peace.